All right, welcome to our deep dive into Dante's Inferno. We're going to be taking a look at the 9 circles of hell today.
Oh, right?
It's interesting because it's not just a story, right?
Yeah.
It's a 14th century journey through hell,
Yeah,
but it's an allegory for the human condition.
absolutely. And it's a really fascinating glimpse into sort of medieval thinking about sin
Right.
and punishment and the afterlife.
I was thinking about this, and
Yeah.
it's, like you said, it's really kind of intense stuff.
Yes.
So maybe we can start off by just setting the stage.
Sure.
All of the videos we watched, they all kind of agree that the story starts with Dante lost in the woods.
Yeah, in a dark wood.
Yeah, in this dark wood.
Classic symbol of spiritual confusion.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's where he meets Virgil,
That's right.
the Roman poet.
Yeah, he needs a guide.
He needs a guide.
He's hit rock bottom.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And Virgil, who represents human reason
Okay.
and poetry.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Not a bad companion to have in a dark wood.
Right in a dark place.
I was thinking, if I'm fitting into hell, I want Virgil by my side.
I want Virgil too.
Especially
Yeah.
with that inscription
Oh, yeah.
above the gate.
Abandon all hope.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Sets the tone.
Chilling. So, okay, let's talk about the 9 circles.
Okay.
So, Dante imagined hell as this giant funnel
Yes.
with crater, right?
Right.
With each level.
Yeah, representing a different category of sin
Okay.
and its corresponding punishment.
So the deeper you
The
go,
worse it gets.
the worse it gets.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole idea of Contrapasso comes in.
Right. Contrapasso plays a really key role here.
And this was something I was wondering about.
Yeah.
It's mentioned in a lot of the videos we watched.
Yes.
But I don't know if I really fully grabbed it. Can you break it down for me a little?
Yeah, basically it means counter-suffering.
Okay.
So the punishment fits the crime
Interesting.
in a symbolic way.
I see.
So it's not just about suffering.
Okay.
It's about a symbolic retribution
Wow.
that reflects the nature of the sin itself.
So it's not just pain, it's
No.
like a punishment.
It's more than just pain.
That makes you really confront
Yeah.
what you did.
Right, the nature of your sin.
Okay, yeah. That adds a whole other level of complexity.
It does. It really reveals Dante's deep
Yeah,
understanding of human psychology
right.
and the subtle ways that sin can warp our souls.
Okay, I'm ready to be unsettled.
All right?
Let's start the tour
Let's do it.
of the 9 circles.
Where do we begin?
So where do we begin?
Well, let's start with circle 1.
Okay,
Limbo.
limbo.
Now, this isn't a place of active torment
Oh.
like the other circles.
Oh, okay.
This is more like a holding area
Okay,
for souls who are denied entry to heaven,
interesting.
but they haven't actively sinned.
So who are we talking about here?
Think unbaptized babies, virtuous pagans,
Right.
those who live before Christ.
Okay.
Interestingly, Dante put some of his heroes here.
Oh.
Figures like Homer, Plato,
Really?
even Julius Caesar.
That's so interesting
Yeah.
because he admires them, obviously.
He does.
But they weren't Christian.
And right, there's-
So they're in limbo.
Yeah.
It really kind of shows that tension between his faith
Hmm.
and his appreciation for like classical knowledge.
Yeah, and it also raises all these questions about the nature of salvation.
Right.
Is it accessible to those outside of the Christian faith?
And he doesn't really give us the answer.
No, he doesn't give us any easy answer.
Okay, so limbo, relatively peaceful, I guess.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, next,
In our descent into infernal mayhem.
we are blown into circle 2.
Oh.
Lust.
Lust.
This is where things start to heat up, literally and figuratively.
Okay,
Souls here are tossed about by these powerful winds,
right.
mirroring the uncontrollable passions that rule their lives.
So the Contrapasso,
Yeah, the Contrapasso is really interesting here.
they're punished by the very force
Right.
that drove their sin.
Exactly.
Up lever.
It is, and it reveals how insightful
Yeah,
Dante is
right.
about human nature.
He had to throw in some familiar faces here, right?
Oh, of course.
Who would he put in this circle?
We find figures like Cleopatra, Helen of Troy,
Okay.
Dido, all swept up in this eternal whirlwind
Oh, wow.
of lustful energy.
Onward and downward we go.
Yes.
What's next?
Circle 3, get ready for a change in temperature
Oh,
because this is gluttony.
okay.
Picture a realm of icy, rain-filled mud,
Okay.
guarded by the three-headed hound,
Whoa.
Cerberus,
Cerberus.
straight out of Greek mythology.
It's interesting how he blends the classical figures
Right.
into his Christian hell.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme
Yeah.
throughout the Inferno.
I noticed that.
He draws heavily on classical lit and mythology,
Okay.
which adds another layer of complexity.
So what are these gluttonous souls
So
up to in this icy wasteland?
they're wallowing in the muck,
Oh.
forced to consume the very filth they indulged in
Okay.
during their earthly lives.
So they're
And Cerberus keeps them in line,
right.
tearing at them and just adding to the misery.
I see the Contrapasso here.
Yes.
It's not just that they're hungry or forced to eat.
It's about consuming the filth
Yeah.
that represents their overindulgence.
Okay.
The punishment is a direct reflection of the sin,
Yeah.
forcing them to confront
Right.
the ugliness of their actions.
Pretty grim.
Pretty great.
Even for hell.
Right. So let's move on to Circle 4.
Circle 4, greed.
Greed.
This is where Dante places those obsessed with material wealth.
Okay.
And it's divided into two groups.
Okay.
The hoarders and the wasters.
Okay.
Both are endlessly pushing these massive weights.
Okay.
They're clashing with each other.
So I see the Contrapasso again.
Yeah. The hoarders are burdened by the weight of their possessions.
Right. While the wasters
Yeah.
are constantly struggling to push away what they've squandered.
It's like a never-ending struggle.
It's a powerful commentary on the dangers of material attachment.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Deeper into the Inferno we go.
Here we go.
Circle 5.
Circle 5 wrath.
Fast.
Prepare yourself, because this is a realm of pure, unadulterated anger.
Ooh.
It's a swamp.
Okay.
Filled with the wrathful.
Over.
They're constantly fighting amongst themselves.
Right.
And with the sullen souls that are submerged beneath,
Got it.
forever gurgling their rage.
The contrapasso here is that they're...
It's both, they're trapped in a cycle of anger,
Right.
unable to escape their own rage,
Okay.
or the fury of those around them.
I see.
And this is where Dante gets a little personal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he actually encounters Filippo Argenti,
Okay.
a political rival from Florence.
Wow.
It shows that the Inferno isn't just some abstract theological exploration.
Yeah, it's personal.
It's personal. It's a space for him to work through
I see.
his own personal and political grievances.
It makes it feel more
Yeah.
real.
Or grounded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's move on to Circle 6.
Circle 6.
Heresy.
Heresy. Huge deal back then.
Huge deal.
So what is it?
Heresy meant going against the teachings of the church.
Right.
A sin considered incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In Dante's time.
Back then, that was it.
This circle is a fiery city with heretics burning in open tombs.
Burning in tombs?
For eternity.
Rough.
Is it any specific examples?
Are there?
Well, he names Epicurus, the Greek philosopher,
Okay.
whose ideas about pleasure and the absence of an afterlife
Right.
were seen as heretical.
Okay.
This inclusion is interesting
Yeah.
because it shows that Dante's hell
Right.
wasn't just populated by Christians,
Yeah, right.
but also by those whose beliefs challenged the authority of the church.
It makes you wonder if he secretly admired
Yeah.
these rebellious thinkers.
Yeah. Even while condemning them.
It's the beauty of Dante.
Yeah.
He constantly challenges us to think critically
Right.
about his choices and about the complexities of good and evil, belief and doubt.
Okay, so Circle 7,
Circle 7,
a
violence.
place dedicated to violence.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what he's cooked up for this one.
Let's just say
Oh, boy.
it's not for the faint of heart.
Okay.
This circle is divided into 3 rings reflecting different types of violence.
Okay.
The first ring is reserved for violence against others,
Okay.
and the souls there are submerged in a river of boiling blood.
Boiling blood. Wow, Dante's not messing around.
No, he's not.
He's making a statement.
He's making a very stark statement.
Okay, so that's just the first ring.
That's just the first ring.
What about the second ring?
The second ring houses those who committed violence against themselves,
Oh,
the suicides,
okay.
and they've been transformed into trees.
That's a chilling image.
It is.
Their bodies twisted and contorted, unable to move or speak.
Right.
So it's interesting that suicide is placed deeper in hell
Yeah.
than violence against others.
It really highlights
It does.
Dante's medieval worldview.
Yeah.
It emphasizes how seriously suicide was viewed in that context.
I see.
To Dante, it was a betrayal
Yeah.
of God's gift of life, a sin perhaps even greater
Wow.
than taking another's life.
That's heavy.
It is. And the third ring
The third ring.
is for violence against God.
What does that look like?
That's reserved for the blasphemers,
Oh, okay.
those who dared to speak out against God.
Right.
They're trapped in a desolate desert of burning sand,
Oh, my goodness.
tormented by fire and thirst.
Wow.
It's Dante's depiction of the ultimate rebellion.
It's bleak.
It is
So 3 rings, 3 types of violence,
Yeah.
all punished in a way.
all punished in a way that reflects the specific nature
Right.
of their sin.
The deeper we go,
The deeper we go,
the more disturbing and complex it gets.
you're picking up on Dante's genius.
And we're not even done.
And we're not even done.
There's still Circle 8.
Circle 8, fraud.
Fraud.
And then the final circle, the ultimate betrayal, treachery.
Wow, I'm both eager and terrified
Yeah.
to see what he has in store for us.
Yeah.
I think this is a good place to pause.
That's okay.
I need to recover.
It's a lot to take in.
I need a glass of water
Yes.
after all of this.
We're only halfway through.
But I think we laid a really good foundation
I think we did.
for understanding.
For understanding Dante's vision of hell,
Yeah.
his concept of contrapasso, and how he uses his journey to explore
Right.
his own personal and political anxieties.
It's amazing how he blends all of that.
Yeah, it is.
So to our listener, catch your breath.
Yes.
Have a glass of water.
Take a breath.
Steel yourself, because we're going into the intricate horrors of fraud.
That's right.
We're going to explore the icy depths of treachery.
Yes, we are.
And ultimately,
Yes,
we are
we are.
going to confront the ultimate evil, Satan himself.
Big guy.
Okay, I think I'm recovered from the first 7 circles.
You think you're ready for more?
Let's do it. Where do we go from here?
Well, brace yourself, because things are going to get even more twisted.
Oh, boy.
We're moving on to Circle 8,
Okay.
Fraud,
Fraud?
which Dante envisioned as this complex labyrinth of 10 ditches,
10 ditches.
each dedicated to a different type of fraud.
Wow, he went all out on this one.
He did.
It makes sense, though.
It does.
Right? Because fraud is all about deception and
Mhm.
manipulations.
So a maze seems like the perfect representation.
Yeah, like a physical manifestation
Exactly.
of that sin.
Exactly. And each ditch houses
Okay.
a specific category of fraudulent sinners,
Okay.
with punishments that are both fitting and incredibly inventive.
So give me the highlight reel.
Oh, there are so many
No,
to
no.
choose from.
What are some of the most memorable?
Well, the seducers, for example, are constantly whipped by demons.
So they're physically punished.
Yeah, mirroring the pain they inflicted
Right.
on others with their false promise.
It's like a twisted version of karma.
It is. They use their words to manipulate
Right.
and hurt others,
Uh-huh.
and now they're being physically punished
Okay.
in a way that reflects that.
What else?
Then you have the flatterers,
Okay.
who are immersed in excrement,
Oh, yeah.
symbolizing the filth
Okay, get it.
and emptiness of their insincere words.
So flattery is all about superficiality.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Well, crap.
yes, right.
So being submerged in literal crap.
Is a pretty fitting punishment.
It is.
Okay, what else is there?
Well, then there are the corrupt politicians and religious leaders
Okay.
who are buried upside down
Wow.
with flames licking their feet.
Oh, my goodness.
It represents how they abuse their power
Right.
and authority for personal gain.
Okay, so the takeaway from Circle 8 is basically,
Yeah.
don't be a liar.
Don't be a liar.
Don't be a manipulator.
Be a manipulator.
Because Dante will find a creatively disgusting way
That's one way to put it.
to punish you.
But on a deeper level,
Yeah.
Circle 8 really showcases Dante's deep concern
Uh-huh.
with the corruption and dishonesty
Right.
that he saw running rampant in his own society.
So he's using these punishments as commentary
Exactly.
on the social and political ills
Mhm.
of his time.
It's like the Inferno is his way
Yeah.
of calling out the hypocrisy
Right.
and deceit that he witnessed.
Wow.
So it's a reminder
Yeah.
that the Inferno is not just
Okay.
some abstract journey through hell,
Right.
but a reflection of Dante's own experiences
Right.
and the challenges of his world.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm ready for the final circle.
Okay, Circle 9, treachery.
The bottom of the infernal pit.
This has got to be the worst of the worst.
It really does.
This is where Dante reserves the most severe punishment
Okay.
for those who betrayed the trust of others.
Okay.
Imagine a vast frozen lake,
Oh.
Lake Cocytus,
Okay.
where traitors are encased in ice,
Oh, my goodness.
unable to move or speak.
Wow.
And this isn't just any
I was
ice.
just going to say, this has got to be special. Dante's Inferno eyes.
It's the frozen breath of Satan himself,
Oh, wow.
who resides at the very center
Of course.
of this
So
circle.
Satan is literally creating his own hell.
He is.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This circle is even more complex, right?
right.
It's divided into 4 sections.
Yeah, he carefully categorized treachery
Okay.
based on the violated bond.
So even in the ultimate circle of hell,
Yes.
there's a hierarchy.
There's a hierarchy of betrayal.
Wow.
It starts with treachery against family,
Okay.
which he considered the least severe.
Interesting.
Then comes treachery against country,
Okay.
followed by treachery against guests and friends.
Okay.
And finally, at the very heart of this frozen wasteland,
Okay.
we find treachery against God.
And that's where we find Satan.
That is where we find Satan.
What does he look like?
Picture this,
Okay.
a monstrous 3-headed figure
Okay.
trapped in ice from the waist down. Okay. His giant bat-like wings beat furiously,
Right.
creating the icy winds that freeze the lake.
So he's literally flapping his wings
He's flapping his
and
wings.
creating this frozen hell.
That's right.
Wow. And to make things even worse, each of his mouths
Each of his mouths
is chewing on...
is eternally chewing on one of history's greatest traitors.
Who are we talking about here?
We're talking about Judas Iscariot,
Right.
who betrayed Jesus,
Right.
and Brutus and Cassius,
Okay.
who betrayed Caesar.
He pulled out all the stops for this one.
He did.
So after this horrifying tour of hell, how do they even escape?
No.
They don't exactly book a flight back to Italy.
No, their escape is even more symbolic.
I would imagine so.
They actually descend further,
What?
climbing down Satan's massive body.
So they climb down his body.
Yes.
To
So the center of the earth to emerge on the other side.
So they go through the ultimate evil to escape hell.
It's like hitting rock bottom.
Wow.
Before you can start to climb back up.
That's a really powerful image.
It is.
So they emerge on the other side, leaving hell behind.
Yeah.
But the journey isn't over, right?
The journey's not over.
What's next?
Well, they've escaped hell.
Okay.
But they still have to go through purgatory.
Purgatory?
Which is like a spiritual way station.
Oh, okay.
Where souls cleanse themselves of their sins.
Okay.
Before they can ascend to heaven.
So it's less intense?
It's definitely a process of purification.
Okay.
But it's also a place of hope.
I see.
The souls in purgatory
are
actively working towards redemption.
So unlike hell, where the punishment is eternal, purgatory is a place of second chances.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it reflects a more optimistic view of the afterlife.
I like this already.
Where even those who have sinned have the opportunity to grow and evolve spiritually.
I'm feeling a bit better after all those circles of eternal damnation.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about purgatory.
Well, imagine a mountain.
Okay.
Divided into 7 terraces.
7.
Each representing a deadly sin.
Okay.
The souls must confront their past actions.
Okay.
Feel remorse.
Right.
And make amends for their sins before they can ascend to the next level.
So it's not a walk in the park.
No.
But it's a journey.
It's a journey.
Towards healing and redemption.
That's a great way to put it.
That's a powerful concept.
It is, and it shows that Dante's Divine Comedy isn't just about punishment and damnation, but about the possibility of transformation and spiritual growth.
I'm really looking forward to exploring purgatory.
We'll get ready for a change of scenery.
Okay.
Because that's exactly where we're headed next.
This deep dive just keeps getting deeper.
It does.
To our listeners, stay tuned. We are leaving the fiery depths of hell behind.
Yes.
And we are ascending the mountain of purgatory.
We are.
All right, so we've survived the horrors of hell, and now we're on to purgatory.
Yes, much more hopeful realm.
It is, and I'm curious how Dante kind of sees this whole purification process.
Well, it's quite a shift from the Inferno. Both in tone and imagery.
Right.
Instead of a fiery abyss, we have this mountain divided into 7 terraces.
Okay, 7 terraces.
Each representing one of the 7 deadly sins.
So pride, envy, wrath, sloth, greed, gluttony, lust.
You got it.
So it's still about sin, but the focus is more on cleansing, redemption, not just eternal punishment.
Exactly.
So what happens on these terraces?
So the souls in purgatory, they're actively working to overcome their past sins.
Okay.
They're guided by angels. And they undergo these specific trials and penances that are designed to purify them.
Interesting. So it's tailored to the sin that they're trying to purge?
Yeah. For example, on the Terrace of Pride, the souls are burdened with these heavy stones.
Oh, wow.
Forcing them to confront their arrogance and learn humility.
So it's like a spiritual boot camp.
I like that this spiritual boot camp.
Right. Each terrace has a specific challenge.
Yeah. It's not about suffering for the sake of suffering. It's about confronting your flaws and striving to become a better version of yourself.
It's interesting how Dante connects specific punishments to specific sins.
It is.
It shows a really deep understanding of human psychology.
It really does.
And how sin can manifest.
And as the souls ascend through the terraces, they gradually shed their earthly burdens.
Okay.
And they become lighter, both literally and figuratively.
I love that.
It's a beautiful metaphor.
It is.
For the process of spiritual growth.
So I'm picturing this mountain and these souls slowly but surely making their way to the top.
Yeah.
And as they go, are shedding their sin.
Shedding their burden.
It's a much more hopeful image than hell.
It is much more hopeful, and it reflects Dante's belief in the power of redemption, even for those who have committed grave sins.
So they get to the top of this mountain.
Yeah.
They're cleansed of their sins.
They're cleansed.
Do they just pop into heaven?
Not quite.
Okay.
At the summit of Mount Purgatory is the Garden of Eden.
The Garden of Eden.
A place of earthly paradise.
Wow.
Here the souls regain their innocence.
So it's like a transition.
It is like a transition zone.
Between earth and heaven.
Between the earthly realm and the celestial realm.
I bet it's beautiful.
It is. Dante describes it as this lush garden filled with light music.
Oh, wow.
The fragrance of flowers. It's a place of peace and joy.
That sounds amazing.
A taste of the bliss that awaits them in paradise.
Well deserved.
It is, and it's in the Garden of Eden that Dante encounters Beatrice.
Ah, Beatrice.
His muse and the symbol of divine love.
Right, Beatrice.
Who will guide him through paradise.
We haven't really talked about Beatrice.
No, we haven't.
But she seems like a pretty key figure.
She is key.
What's her role in all of this?
She represents a kind of idealized love a spiritual connection that transcends earthly desires.
Right.
She's the embodiment of divine grace and inspiration.
So she elevates Dante's journey.
Yeah.
To a whole other level.
From a personal quest to a spiritual odyssey.
So she's more than just a guide?
She is much more than a guide.
She's a symbol of Dante's spiritual aspirations.
Yes, she is.
That's really cool.
It adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah, it does.
To the Divine Comedy.
Okay, so we're leaving the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
We're ascending into paradise.
To the celestial realms.
What's in store for us there?
Paradise is Dante's vision of heaven.
Okay.
A realm of pure light, love, and divine knowledge.
Wow.
He describes it as a series of concentric spheres.
Okay.
Each representing a different level of spiritual perfection.
Okay.
With God residing at the very center.
So even in heaven, there's a hierarchy?
Yes. But it's not a hierarchy of, like, power or status.
Okay.
It's about the degree of spiritual enlightenment.
Okay.
And closeness to God.
I see.
The higher spheres represent a deeper understanding.
Right.
Of divine love and a greater capacity for experiencing divine grace.
So it's like a cosmic ladder.
Yeah.
And each rung represents a step closer to God.
Exactly.
So what does Dante see as he's going through these spheres?
He encounters a host of saints, angels, historical figures who embody different virtues and spiritual insight.
Oh, wow.
And he has conversations with them.
Really?
About theology, philosophy, the mysteries of the universe.
So paradise isn't just blissful contemplation.
It's not just sitting on clouds.
It's like intellectually stimulating.
Very much so.
I have to admit, it's a little hard to wrap my head around.
It is. It's very abstract.
Yeah.
Especially compared to hell and purgatory.
Right. It's hard to visualize.
It is. And Dante himself struggled.
I can imagine.
To find the words to describe the ineffable experience.
To describe being in the presence of God.
Yes.
But I guess that's part of the point.
It is. It's supposed to be beyond human comprehension.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate mystery.
So he goes through the spheres. Yes. He gets closer and closer to God.
Guided by Beatrice.
What happens when he finally gets to the center?
Well, that's the culmination
of
the entire Divine Comedy.
It's the climax.
And it's a moment that Dante can only describe in metaphors and symbols.
I can only imagine.
He sees this blinding light, a vision of pure love.
Wow.
And divine knowledge that transcends human language.
So he's trying to describe the indescribable.
Exactly. The ultimate experience of spiritual enlightenment.
That's powerful.
It is. And it's an experience that leaves Dante transformed.
Yeah.
Filled with a sense of awe and wonder.
Right.
That he can only partially convey.
Through his words.
Through his words.
It's a powerful ending to an incredible journey.
It is.
We've gone from the depths of hell to the heights of heaven.
We have.
Explored the complexities of sin and redemption.
Yes.
Grappled with some of the biggest questions.
No big questions.
About life, death, and the meaning of existence.
We've done it all.
We've done it all, and we've only scratched the surface.
We've only just begun.
Dante's Divine Comedy.
Endless possibility.
It really is.
For interpretation.
So to our listener.
Yes.
What is one final takeaway?
Think about Dante's journey as a metaphor for your own life.
Okay.
What are your personal dark woods?
Interesting.
What are your challenges and temptation?
What guides us on our path?
Exactly. And what is your ultimate destination?
That's a really great question.
It is.
It reminds us that Dante's Divine Comedy is not just some story.
No.
From the past.
It's timeless.
It's a timeless reflection.
It is.
On the human condition.
We all undertake this journey in our own way.
Yeah.
With our own challenges, triumphs, and moments of grace.
That's beautiful.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.
Into the world of ideas. Who knows what you might discover along the way.
Thank you for joining us on this epic journey.
It's been a pleasure.
Through Dante's Divine Comedy, we hope you've enjoyed the deep dive.
Yes.
We'll see you next time for another adventure in the world of knowledge and ideas.
See you then.